Do Revenge Ending Explained. This latest release on the platform focused around two individuals in a high school for wealthy children when money and social status talked. Following a video being leaked online, revenge was the only thing that the main character Drea had her eyes on. But a twist occurring in the final quarter was something that put this show on its head as we arrived at the climax. So I thought I'd recap, break down, and explain all that there was to take away from the movie. So let's get into it. Here is Do Revenge Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The movie, which starred Camila Mendes as Drea and Maya Hawke as Eleanor, saw us following two individuals meeting with the intention of taking down each other's enemies who ruined elements of their lives with a plan that was devised. Eleanor was transferring to the prestigious private school where Drea was once in the elite crew. However, after being with the senior year class president Max and sending him a spicy video, we saw it get leaked and her social status get dropped slightly, which ultimately ended up with her departing from the friendship group due to her believing that Max was the individual who leaked it, and it was then seen by everybody in the school. During the summer, we saw Drea go to a tennis club, which was where we saw her befriend Eleanor, after Eleanor gave her a ride after her car was damaged and she was left stranded in the car park. The pair expressed their pain and suffering at the hands of others, and the pact that they could make in order to seek revenge on the individuals who hurt them. It was done this way as nobody knew that they were associated with each other, so it wouldn't look suspicious. We saw Eleanor mention how when she was younger there was an individual called Carissa who made Eleanor out to be a predator, and spread a rumor of how she pinned her down and tried to kiss her, and it ruined her life at the time. So that was her motivation. We saw the pair of them pick up with each other at school and work on the plan to take both of their pain givers down. Eleanor had to worm her way into the elites, which included Max, who was Drea's ex, who she wanted to take down, and also Tara, who was her former best friend, who was now dating Max. We saw her get accepted into the group and the initial plan of taking Max down by leaking some of the messages that he had in texting other girls from every clique whilst he was in a relationship didn't work, as him and his friends managed to find a way to frame it in a way that he was in an open relationship, and due to everybody loving him, they all saw it as a positive, and a way that they'd be able to have a chance with him. So this led Drea to be extremely angry and disappointed and hurt by the fact that nobody saw it any differently. He was painting himself out to be the victim of the video that was leaked, due to the fact that he was hacked, and he positioned himself as an ally to women and all that they go through, when in actual fact it was Drea who was the victim. Prior to this occurring, we saw Carissa get taken down by Drea. She worked her way onto the farm where Carissa was working. She was growing vegetables and she was the head cook of a meal for the winter dinner before they all embarked on a break. Drea saw that in Carissa's greenhouse there were illegal substances that she was growing, and she decided to put them in the food that was being cooked. And as well as that, she also called the head teacher and tipped her off that there were narcotics on campus. This led Carissa to be expelled from the school, so one of the targets had been wiped out successfully. Over the course of the movie, we did see that both Drea and Eleanor were forming a true friendship with each other, and also with their counterparts that they were carrying out their plans on. This was leading them to have conflicting emotions. Drea was falling for Russ, who was Carissa's best friend, and Eleanor was actually forming a friendship with Max and the gang, as she'd never really been accepted before, showing the lack of true emotions that they'd both felt from individuals in the past. Halfway through the movie, we saw a dramatic twist occur. It turned out that despite us thinking that their meeting was a chance encounter, one of the first lines that we heard at tennis camp of Drea becoming Eleanor's best friend without her even knowing was part of a well thought out, meticulous plan in order to take down Drea, and Eleanor was behind it all. Their meeting was no chance encounter. Eleanor removed the spark plug from Drea's car, forcing her to get in the car with her, where she explained all that Carissa did to her. However, she didn't actually do anything like that to her. Drea was the very person who ruined her life by spreading a rumor about Eleanor after coming out, and it was the very thing that made Carissa not want to be around Eleanor anymore, so there was still a motive behind why she wanted to take her down. Drea was a narcissistic individual to the point where she didn't even realize what she'd done to her in the past when it was being explained directly to her, and Eleanor wanted to ruin her chances of a successful career and her life moving forward. We saw Eleanor reveal all to Drea once she found out herself, and she devised a final plan in order to expose everybody at the prestigious school at the end of year party, ruining their chances of getting into an Ivy League college. And also in making Drea leak it from her laptop associated with her IP address so it would be traced. She gave Drea a device that was disguised and was filming it all. We saw Drea reluctantly go ahead with it. However, once they were at the end of year party, we saw Drea go rogue and reveal to everybody that Eleanor used to be known as Nosy Nora, which transported Eleanor back to the time where her life was ruined, due to the laughing and comments that they were all giving her. One key thing about this party was that there were no phones allowed in it, and this was where the climactic ending occurred. We saw Drea go after Eleanor, where we saw that she stated how even though she betrayed her, she was deeply sorry for all that she put her through when she was younger. And she explained that the past few months when they were working together, she genuinely felt like she found a friend in her, one of the only true friends that she'd ever had. We also saw Eleanor prior to the party looking in the mirror and remembering all of the good times that she had with Drea over the past few months as well, but she forced herself to snap out of it, showing that this wasn't who she truly was, and she cared for Drea deep down. The shell that she had on the exterior that we saw her battling with over the course of the movie was actually a shell, and the original Eleanor was still underneath it. She cared for Drea more than any of the individuals that were at the party, despite wanting to take her down. As the pair were reconciling, we saw Max come out from around the corner, and we saw that he'd been through their phones and had seen the communications between both Eleanor and Drea over the past few months. These communications revealed everything that they'd been up to and the plans that they devised. He said how he was going to do everything in his power to ruin them, so the tables had truly been turned. This was also where we saw that he used Drea and said how he leaked the video on purpose, as he felt that she got too big for her boots, tying back to the original motives of the revenge, showing that Drea's actions were justified and she was right. Although Drea had smashed her recording device that Eleanor gave her, we saw that Eleanor actually had a secret filming device as backup, and she caught all of it on film. This was then played to everybody at the party, and we saw Max finally face everything that was coming his way for his manipulative, controlling behavior. He lost his place at Yale, and his friends had all switched sides due to seeing the toxic nature that he held, and the facade that he was putting up in supporting women, despite being somebody who actually didn't care about them, and was the very thing that he swore he was against. The pair did revenge, despite going against each other along the way, but they saw that the friendship that they had together was something that was stronger and was like no other that they'd experienced before, leading them to stay friends in the long run and drive off together in a car, mirroring what we saw in the opening of the movie. Drea always valued her life by the career path that she'd painted out, and defined it on going to an Ivy League college, but we saw that the archaic system and structure that Russ told her about earlier on, that shouldn't be the only way that she judged her worth, was something that stuck with her, and when a spot at Yale opened up after Max being kicked out, she decided to go against it and find value in other elements of her life, showing that she was a changed individual. I really liked this movie. I thought it had a good balance of drama, tension, twists, strong performances, and comedy. It was something a little different, and it was well executed. Usually these types of movies can fall flat, but it had enough originality about it to make it an enjoyable, unpredictable watch that left you feeling wholesome and satisfied at the end. During the credit scenes, we saw some things that developed the ending further. We saw that Eleanor and Max's sister were now together moving forward. Drea confessed about including the mushrooms in everybody's dinner and apologized to Russ. So it turned out that there was a happy ending in all senses. So, there you have it. Do Revenge Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of Do Revenge? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.